Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video and a new series on the channel, and this is a first ever track guide here on my channel, and this is for the Super Formula Light on iRacing at Jerez. Now what we're doing first is showing you the lap actually in full speed, no breakdown, so you can see what the lap actually looks like at full speed, and then after this lap we will actually get into the lap itself and breaking down corner by corner. If you do like this video, please let me know in the comments because I want to know if there's anything I can do better, what you do and what you don't like. Any feedback is appreciated. So right after this lap, we'll get into the breakdown. Alright, with that lap done, now let's get into the breakdown of the lap and go corner by corner to actually help you get through this lap. So going down to turn 1, what you want to do is be positioning your car all the way over on the left side to where half your car is over the curb. Now you actually can put more of your car over onto the curb if you want to, but I think it actually helps with braking if you have half your car still on the tarmac. And what you're going to be looking for is a braking point. Now what I use is lettering on the left side in the blue area. As soon as I see the big A on the left that you can see here, that's when I start braking. And I shift down to third gear here. Some people shift down to second, I shift down to third gear. Once you get to the apex and third gear, this is when you want to slowly start getting back on throttle around 70 to 80%, and then once you actually can feel the car not slide because it is going uphill, that's when you can get back on full throttle to give you a better run down to turn 2. On the exit of turn 1, if you do touch the gravel, it will be an instant off track, so just be careful there, especially on your qualifying laps. And then down to turn 2, you're going to see this big blue awning. You want to keep your car to the left side to the curb, but then also as soon as you go underneath that blue awning, this is when you want to start braking. I use around 50% brake pressure. The exit of this corner is actually very important as you do come up to a long straight next, so making sure you get a good exit is very important here. Now one thing to actually do to help with that is using all of this blue curb on the left side here. A lot of people actually kind of don't use that, but the more you use it, as long as you don't touch the gravel, it's not considered an off track and then you are shortening your distance to the next corner. Next we just have a long straight and then we prepare for one of the hardest corners on the track, especially on the opening laps of a race. The reason why this is one of the hardest corners is because it is a high commitment corner, especially in the early laps when you still have cold tires. However, when you do have warm tires, what you can do here is actually go to about 20% throttle and let the car coast in and just kind of throw the car into the corner and wait for it to grip up with this car, which it will do. And then as soon as you feel the car and you know the track limits, you know when you can get back on throttle very easily and then use all of the curb on the exit. Again, be very cautious here in the first couple laps because you actually will have to use a little bit of brake to help get the car rotated in, but then also make sure you don't rotate it too much to where you do spin the car. Again, it's very easy to do that in the opening laps. Now we come up to one of the best overtaking spots on the entire circuit and also one of the hardest braking zones, which makes this one a very important corner because you can be overtaken or do the overtaking. There are two ways to brake for this corner. Some people will like to put their car all the way on the curbs on the left side to get a better exit and open up the corner a little bit more. However, I like to keep half my car on the curb, and the reason why I do this is I feel like I get more consistent braking. So if you want more consistent braking, I definitely recommend braking with about half your car onto the curb. Coming up now to another high commitment corner, especially in the early laps. And what makes this corner such high commitment is, again, in early laps, you're actually going to be turning in and it's very easy to lose the rear here. But when you do have warm tires, it actually does become a little bit easier. And this is where a lot of high commitment comes in. You actually want to be turning in at the tire barrier on the left side. As soon as that ends is when you want to be turning in. And you only need to go to around 50 to 60% throttle, and then you don't need to touch the brake at all, and then you're back on throttle almost immediately, and just let the car coast out to the exit curb before you then open it up to the next corner. Now, this next corner actually is kind of a difficult one to help you with a braking point, and that's because there's not really any good reference markers for braking. It's really based off of feel. For me, I brake maybe around 30 to 40 meters ahead of this flag over on the left side, and then what I do is downshift to third gear and let the car coast all the way out to the exit curb, which is very important because the next couple of corners are a huge sequence where you can either lose or gain a lot of lap time. When you're on the exit curb of the corner that we were just talking about, the next thing is upshifting to fourth gear, and then as soon as you upshift to fourth, kind of let off the throttle to around 20% to get the nose turned in for the next corner where you do want to hit the apex. You can use all of the curb here and even some of the green part to help get the car rotated in, and then as soon as you hit that apex, that's when you want to get back on full throttle. One thing to be aware of on the exit of this corner though, is even if you slightly touch even by 1 centimeter the gravel, it will be considered a off track. So again, during qualifying laps, be very, very careful. And now we just have a long straight that's completely flat all the way until the final corner. Your braking point for the last corner actually should be pretty easy and one of the easier ones with a reference point. And that's because you're going to use the pit entry. Once you're in line with where the pit entry starts, that's when you want to start braking. I use half my car over the curb to start that, and then kind of throw the car in towards the apex as I'm braking around 60 to 80% with my brake pressure to let the car rotate in, and then use all of the curb on the exit. And just like that, that completes our lap guide for Jerez in the Super Formula Lights. Let me know what you guys think of this lap guide down in the comments. Any feedback is greatly appreciated, especially with this being the first one. I would love to know what you guys like, what you guys want to see. Anything in the comments, just let me know. And if you do like the video, please hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys for another video sometime soon. Bye-bye.